Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning or Saturday AMA with the Snyder man. I'm just checking in. My schedules are changing radically, so I'm finding myself with a bit more free time than usual. So I figured I'd just spend that extra time with the people who matter most to me outside of my immediate family. So pardon me while I move things around here. But I see two people are watching. Why don't you go ahead and tell us where you're checking in from, and we'll go from there. Hold on a second. I got to get to my chat. There we go. All right, chat away, my friends. Show me what you got. Show me what you're working with. Hey, there's Liam and SAT Atlanta. There's Paul, Andrew. Oh, we got lots of people all of a sudden. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's pop this chat out of here so I don't have to keep playing with Windows, with respect to the bill. All right. So you got me for a while. What do you want to know about? What do you want to talk about? Let's see here. Oh, let's see. There's Liam, Philly Picks from Canada. Got Adrian Martinez checking in. Sal Manuel from Chicago. Seth Breedbart from St. Paul, Minnesota. Nikolaki. Hey, David. Nico from Burbank. Hope all is well with you and your family. Things are amazing right now. They're exciting. They're just getting more exciting. And that's actually cool. Let's see here. We got Antron from Valley of the Sun. Cool. Adele Farag from Fremont, California. Brick T. Hey, David, do you personally do deity magic or any better alternative? It's interesting that there's so many different ways to get to the same thing. It's interesting in the Buddhism course that I'm training in, they're teaching us both. They're teaching us both identification or what we call dissolving and absorbing, and realizing everything is self. And they're also teaching us deity magic, which ultimately winds up with you being absorbed into the avatar of the deity you've created. So honestly, I think they both have a lot of merit, a lot of valid. As long as it emotionally, physically resonates with you, I think it's fine. Words create worlds says, hey, Dr. David, I'm so glad to be able to be in the live again. Me too. Nikolaki says, what are the three magic questions? Top three magic questions is a code for 3 levels of questions. So the first one is going to be location, occasion. Second one is going to be career, passions, or pleasure. Third one is early positive childhood experiences. Andrew Sicarelli is asking, David, NLP, your top 3 recommendations. Okay, Andrew, you're going to have to give me a little bit more qualifiers so I can give you a better recommendation. The Chosen One says, how would I be able to manifest money with the elements? First thing you've got to do if you're going to use elements is you've got to purge. You've got to clean up your shit. Then you have to get in harmony with the elements inside your body. Then you have to connect that and then you have to get harmony with the elements outside of your body. And then once you've got that, you've got to bridge them and merge them until it's all one. When you reach that much vaunted, very, very exalted level of development, pretty much anything you say or speak will start to manifest. So that's why if you ever heard the old hermetic expression, to know, to dare, to keep silent, it wasn't just about not telling secrets. It was about once you've reached a certain level of initiation, especially where the elements are concerned, because the elemental training was actually what was kept secret in most true traditions, because that's where things really start to get crazy. I know because I'm going through it right now. I mean, I've been playing with elements for a long time, and I thought I knew a lot about elements. Now I'm finding out, hey, I was right on one level and still a baby on other levels. So, but that's how you use the elements primarily. First thing you gotta do is balance and clear them if you want to use elements. Keith Dalton, thank you for the AMA. How does a person break free from chronic procrastination? The most direct way is regress to cause. Things that you can use to hurry that along are yin formations and the resistance removal protocol and the procrastination blaster. Between those four things, you're pretty much going to nuke any hesitation or procrastination that your body or mind is going to generate. Let's see here. Scott Tidor says, can you give someone a belief? Absolutely. Nick says, I'm so jealous I never got to train with Lillian Bridges. She was amazing. Those of us who did spend some time with her, even for a little while, came away deeply touched and very changed. So, but while it lasts, there is some videos of her. Well, actually, there's many videos of her actually. So I guess that really doesn't. It really depends on how much of Lillian's materials you want to really learn to absorb. Nothing will ever be like being in the room with her. But if you wanted to experience her, there are videos available that she's done on some of the various acupuncture CEU sites, and Lotus Institute has some face reading courses that they still sell, I believe, or it's actually more like rent, because you only get access to the videos for so long, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. But if you wanted to experience what Lillian was like towards the end of her days, those are available. Let me see here. My favorite books on NLP. Favorite books on NLP aren't necessarily about NLP. Let's see. All the John Seymour books on NLP, they're not new. They've been around for a long time. I really like John Seymour's books on NLP. So like NLP at Work, and I think there was a couple others, but those are the ones I liked a lot and I got the most out of. And I have all of Richard's books. But sometimes the person that develops something isn't always the best person for teaching something, right? Brick T says, what does opening the door mean in esoteric martial arts? Opening the door, the way I've been taught to understand it, means gaining access to what we call the 2D or inner door disciple level. This is a very, very rare and privileged level of relationship that you have with a teacher, where they are basically going to be extraordinarily hard on you and basically not take any shit and hold you to task. And then as you prove yourself worthy, they're going to teach you the secrets behind everything, or as much as they're willing, more than they're going to teach the average student. So that to me is what opening the door means. There may be other meanings to it, but that's the one I use. Axe the Gamer, what's your opinion on social anxiety limited to people of higher positions? Oh, social anxiety isn't limited at all to anyone. Antron Petty, can manifestation help you become your ideal self? Yes, but it's going to be a rough ride. What generally happens is as you work on becoming your ideal self, your ability to manifest things tends to accelerate. But if you're using manifestation tools to move towards your ideal self, now you're getting on the fast track to enlightenment, I guess is a good way to say it, but it's not going to be an easy road. You're going to go through a lot of pain and suffering, and you're going to have to give a lot of shit up, right? We're all here on the journey to become our best version of ourselves. But the truth is, when you intentionally opt to start taking affirmative steps in that direction, the universe is going to say, oh, he wants the e-ticket ride, huh? All right, here you go. So if that's something you're signing up for, then it's coming. Words create worlds. I noticed it comes from this feeling of shooting myself in the foot. It's bringing up every moment I've ever done that. This vibrational. Yeah, regress to cause. Just regress to cause and get rid of that shit. And see how much of it's still left, and use the other techniques to do that. APSA, is he answering YouTube questions? Yes, I am. Right. The Chosen One, thank you. I'm rewatching your vibrational influence. I'm 19 excited how good the rest of my life is going to be, knowing the elements, knowledge, and much more. We'll keep doing what you do. Keep going, my friend. David Orman, the Systema guy. What did you gravitate to? Kevin versus Vladimir. Thank you. You know, I have tremendous respect for both of them. Kevin's been much more nuts and bolts, a lot more deliberate practice-y in that respect. Very, very free with the information and the knowledge. Vladimir is an amazing practitioner, obviously a good teacher. Where they diverge is Vladimir, he's a little bit more open to the esoteric, a little bit more the woo-woo side, which I really, really appreciate, because as much as I love martial arts and real world practical stuff, I am very much an esotericist. And so I see the value and the benefit of both. I'm very grateful that I had the grounded teaching style from Kevin that I got, because he really allowed me and showed me how to make bridges and crossovers into other things I do. And so he really helped me a lot. And so I would still recommend Kevin for most people who want to really get a hard, solid, practical foundation in the Russian martial arts. I would focus on Kevin first. And then if you have more of an interest in the subtler things, like what do they call it? Well, like the no touch hitting and different ways to hit and do things, then Vladimir's your guy, 100%. There's no denying the skill levels of Vladimir Vasiliev at anything. But I still study both people. I studied Ryabko, even though, at the time, Kevin didn't really have a high opinion of some of the things that he done. Again, you have to go back to the Bruce Lee thing, absorb what is useful, throw out what isn't, and add that which is uniquely yours. So I hope that answered your question, but it's good to hear from you again, David. Rick T says, any books on esoteric practice for beginners that are not cryptic? No. Unfortunately, most of the hardcore esotericists lean towards a little bit more dense, often cryptic trainings. The most accessible ones is the one I've been recommending for over a decade now, climbing close to 2 decades, which is the Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Barden. I'm currently engaged in a very deep level study of Christian mysticism, Taoist mysticism, and Buddhist mysticism. And you know what they're doing? Textbook Franz Barden exercises. Everything that's designed to evolve and develop your 3 bodies and help put you in touch with your soul, it's all in there, right? They're all using the exact same processes. They call them slightly different things, but the training is almost identical. I mean, the 98th percentile level, like that's how similar the trainings are. So once again, you'll never exhaust the things you'll learn from those books, right? What's important is that you have a community or a guide to guide you and move you through those exercises, which again is one of the reasons I'm pursuing my doctorate in medical Qigong and all the other esoteric systems that I'm currently working through, is because I know you guys want to learn this stuff, and I want you to learn this stuff, but I want you to do it safely, and I want you to do it from a lineage that's credible, if that makes any kind of sense. So first and foremost, I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing it eventually. Everything I do for me eventually filters down to you guys. So I would start, if you're interested in the esoteric stuff. And again, one of the things I see is you can go to Amazon and buy 100 books on spell casting or meditation or whatever. And you'll get results based on whatever level of development that you have. But most people who are missing are what we call the Negong, or the internal practices that evolve your three bodies, access to your soul, all the things that just when we talk about killer influence, we talk about rapport skills will get you frequency, but it's your state control that gets you amplitude, right? The same thing here. What's the difference when a Taoist shaman creates a talisman following a formula versus somebody who reads it out of a book following the exact same formula? The amount of energy, time, and practice has gone into that magical muscle, right? And that's what most of us aren't really understanding, is that it's not just about the ritual or the symbol or whatever. There are practices that, to use a fitness metaphor, if I go into the gym and I start doing benches and curls and all kinds of free weights, and I start really getting strong, when I go to use that muscle, I'm going to be able to move a lot more. I'm going to be able to get things done a lot faster than somebody who can barely lift the bar, or who's watched somebody else working out, right? Or who's gone to a personal trainer and been told how to work out and given a list of things to do that maybe they do, maybe they don't, right? That's the difference. And that's the thing I want you guys to get, is there's trainings to this. There's exercises and practices that amplify the rituals and the colors and the metaphors that you're doing. It's all systematic, right? And that's the thing that most people won't do. They won't train. And so I do my best to. Well, thank you, whoever donated. Who did that? That was AP. Which book of yours that you have written would you suggest for sales and influence? Already watched Killer Influence Closing Techniques. Okay. If you haven't seen it, try Stealth Selling Secrets. It's not a book, it's a video course. From there, I would go into Charisma and Conversion, which is all about, selling from the stage and from the platform. Those are probably the two next. If you've done Killer Influence, then the next phases where you would be to drill down more on the sales processes, which are in Stealth Selling Secrets, and then Charisma and Conversion. Sorry, it's been a long day. I've been out in the sun a lot. So, let's see here. So Brick 2 says, can you use Kundalini energy for martial arts? Does it boost it and everything? Any form of energy that you can tap into on demand will help you in martial arts. So Kundalini's a very powerful energy. Most people I know who have an active Kundalini are more focused on the spirituality side of things and more on the healing side of it. I don't see a lot of people in the martial arts, although Glenn Morris's work, Kundalini Awakening Process, Glenn was a martial artist and successfully, before he passed, took over 100 people through the Kundalini Awakening process. So I know, like the Hoshinru, which is the ninjutsu offshoot system that Dr. Morris founded, a lot of martial artists in that group. So I'm betting a lot of them are working with ways to tap into and utilize the Kundalini. Dr. Snyder, you skipped some questions. Oh, I guess I did. Hold on a second. I'm curious, do you know any books on how singers become so great with their rhythmic tone when they sing? I don't know any books. The best advice I can give, I dropped my cap from my methylene blue water here. So let me grab that really quick. Look up Jonathan Altfeld. Jonathan Altfeld has a course on voice enhancement. That's probably the best advice I can give you. I don't have a lot on vocal quality, vocal training. Do you have to worry about exchange of fluid or DNA with your partner's ex? Any residual memory to purge? I would say that the risk of that is really minimal. But just like an STD can be passed from one person to another without the person themselves actually contracting the disease, you might want to get checked out a little bit. Also, remember that when we have sex with somebody, there are these energetic cords that are created that stay connected to those partners until we intentionally go in and we break them, and we break those connections. Now, the question becomes, can those sexual connections, those energetic connections between your partner and their former partner be transferred to you? And I would say that that's probably not going to happen unless there's an intention for it to happen, if that makes any kind of sense. Is there some truth in semen retention? Much truth in semen retention, Guile. Let's see here. All right, let me see. Benefits of owning a dog, good for regulating neurology. What else? Curious to know. Well, they're good for protection and early warning if someone tries to break into your house. Actually, having pets is good for most of us. But remember something, that pet needs to be nurtured and cared for, but most importantly, it needs to be trained and it needs attention. So remember, while you're buying the dog to get attention, the animal also needs your attention as well. So I think there's a lot of really, really positive benefits from owning a dog or a puppy. Right. Hey, David, what benefits do you get by drinking methylene blue? I'll tell you, my cognitive energy level has gone way up. My ability to focus and sit on tasks for longer periods of time seems to have taken a significant increase. It was noticeable at first, but it was subtle. The longer I've been drinking the methylene blue with electrolytes, by the way, I might add, the more rapidly I feel the effect whenever I drink it. So, again, do the research and test it out if you think it's something that's useful. But I actually quite enjoy it. Justin Tang says, hypnosis versus NLP, which do you think is more effective? My answer, Justin, is yes, and here's why. NLP is hypnosis. Okay, it's just a different form of hypnosis. NLP is about the structure of subjective experiences, and so when you understand how language and all those things factor in to that, your hypnosis becomes significantly stronger or more powerful. The problem with most people who study classical NLP is they come out with this head full of knowledge that they can't actually do anything with. And I've had an allergy to that for almost 20 years. Because when I was running the Sleepwalkers out of LA, we saw the product of every NLP training organization in the world. Everything that came from the James community, everything that came from the Bandler community, everything that came from everybody else at the time that was teaching, they all came through our trainings and our meetings. And as time went on, the people showing up had more and more ego and less ability. And so I made a very, very renegade decision that I was not going to be part of that machine, because people weren't coming away with a skill set. They were coming away with a certificate and an ego that they couldn't support. And so I taught hypnosis and NLP for free for 10 years before I would ever consider certifying or teaching anyone. And so that's where I come from. I mean, when you come to my trainings, you're going to understand it and you're going to be able to do it. And you're going to be able to do it on demand. Can we be a certified practitioner in NLP with your programs? If you follow Justin, if you follow my training formula, the answer is yes. Now, let me explain that, because I used to get, back when I was certifying through the Society of NLP, I would get no end of shit because of the rigor that I put my students through. So let me explain that. Most of your NLP trainers and certification bodies, and I'm not putting them down at all. They are what they are, and everybody can teach you something. But because of my experiences as running practice groups for 10 years for free, actually more than 10 years if you count the time I spent in San Diego plus the time I spent in LA, I realized that if you want to be able to rock NLP like really, really well, you need to be a good hypnotist first. The question came up, which is more effective, hypnosis or NLP? And so I developed a curriculum that is very integrative. In other words, the NLP and the hypnosis are all, you don't know where one begins and the other ends. But one of the things I found is that when you take a hypnotist who's really good at it, who's very comfortable with their hypnosis, I don't care if you're classically trained or you do what we do, which is cutting edge. If the person's really competent, they can walk into an NLP class, look at the bullet points of an NLP process and just riff it, right? It doesn't generalize the other way because unfortunately, I don't know if it's the way the trainings are designed. I don't know if it's a bias of the trainers themselves, but when people go in, they come out with this idea that everything's hard and complicated, and they can't hypnotize people as easily as someone who comes from the hypnosis world first. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, but I've been training people for a long, long time, and I've tried every combination that I can think of to accelerate people's curves through the NLP world or through the NLP curriculum. And what we have seen time and time and time again is that if you have hypnosis training first, good hypnosis training first, and you're comfortable with hypnosis, you can rock NLP. It's just that simple. It's just that straightforward. So to get into my NLP class, you have to have been through at least Identity by Design and or Killer Influence. My preference is actually Identity by Design. But if you have both of those, it's optimal. And then what happens is by that time, when you get to NLP, you're like, I know 80% of this, right? Why? Because it's all there. I mean, if you think about it, even though I never, for a lot of years, I never billed Killer Influence training as an NLP class. But since 2020, Killer Influence has been voted by my peers and just, I guess, people who've bought the course as the #1 NLP training course in the world. Why is that? Because it takes a real world approach to using these things in real world situations. There's so much information in classical NLP that people get so, and the problem is if you think of the I'm going to get off my NLP pedestal in a minute. But one of the things that happens a lot of times is the field of NLP is like this big buffet, right? That's just spread out before you, but nothing's marked. You don't know what's a garnish, what's an appetizer, what's a main course, what's a dessert, right? And you're left to figure it out. Killer Influence and Identity by Design do something that makes everything easier, is that it gives you the critical path to follow. First do this, then do this, then do this, then do this in a universal way. In other words, if you're in a dating context, do this, do this, do this, do this. You're in a negotiation context, do this, do this, do this, do this. You're in a coaching context, do this, it's the same formula. So you always have the next step. You always know where to start and where to go next. Okay. The other part that the way we do it, at least, is that we do 3 times more hands-on training than any other trainer in the industry. Okay. So one of the things we've discovered from watching people for hundreds of hours is that the way most people are taught, and this is not just in the NLP world, this is in pretty much any seminar world at all. We see this in hypnosis a lot too, is you go into a classroom, you sit down, the instructor gets up, they give you theory, right? Tell you a couple stories, do a demo, you break up, you have partner A, partner B, A does B, B does A, you go back, more lecture, more story, more theory, more demo, break up, do it once each, back. That's the standard seminar training funnel, it doesn't work really well. Okay. One of the things that we've discovered is like one repetition is like scratch pad memory. It's like the RAM on your computer. The minute the computer goes off, the RAM goes away, right? Or the RAM clears. The minimum number of repetitions that you need to retain something at a deep enough level that you can functionally use it out in the street is 3. So we've organized our entire training system around what we call the 3x3 protocol, right? And when you come to the Killer Influence or Hidden Laws of Attraction, you'll experience that firsthand. If you've got our videos, you've seen it. You've seen me give instructions 3 times as a subject, 3 times as the operator, every time, different partner every time. You got half an hour, go. And you just got to get those reps in, right? And it's amazing how quickly people can embody what seems at the very first, like a lot of information, because of that extra hands-on, right? Because we carve out what's the main pieces. What do you absolutely have to have? What are optional pieces? What is fluff? And we've just distilled the entire body of information down to that. And so it makes it much easier for people to go through the process. So that was a pretty long, drawn out explanation of, can you get certified with my programs? Yes, but you got to come to the live event because we won't certify you virtually. Although, because of the way things are going now, I may have to modify that adage a little bit. I'm not thrilled about it because I still think if you want the biggest bang for your buck, you need to get your ass to a live event. But let's see. Knowledge is key. I'm 20 and discovered you near the end of 12th grade, and I somewhat know Spanish. I want to learn how to quickly be fluent. Is there fast ways to do that? Sleep learning works really, really well. Watching Spanish television, I hear, is really a good way to do it. Nikolaki says, guys, I highly recommend taking David's face reading class. Thank you so much for that, Nick. Revelation, at what age did you feel that you stepped fully and truly into your power? I'll let you know when I get there. And I'm not trying to be funny. I just don't feel like I'm done yet. I feel like I'm still in the process. So there are levels to power, but I think probably the very first time was when I stood up in front of a martial arts class and taught a group of kids, and they absolutely loved it. I was like, well, damn, I'm good at this. I can do this. These kids like it, you know. The other times are when I was an actor, when I stepped up onto the stage for the first time, and I nailed the auditions. Right, that was really the beginning for me. Martial arts training and theater was actually where I started. Hold on a second. I just saw something about amplitude. Oh, Bob Sikay says, I've gotten my amplitude really high once and I manifested a great relationship, but I can't figure out how to get my amplitude high again. My intuition, Bob, is that you're trying to measure how into it you are. And what I've seen over and over and over again is that the moment you remember a time when you had a certain amplitude, or you experienced a certain level of amplitude, and you want to get back there. What happens a lot of times is people remember what that was like, and then they try to go into it, but there's a little part of their mind outside trying to evaluate if they're there yet. It's that little piece of you that's not absorbed, that's meta to the experience, that is actually keeping you from going even higher. So I would start playing with your submodalities, the big, if you know the magic frame drill, you know the frame game, start playing with that and stop trying to evaluate how strongly you're in the state. Because I think the moment you stop evaluating and just dissolve into it and just be fully present in it, you're going to get there faster. What are some of the cognitive benefits of playing the frame game daily? Let me count the ways. You're going to have more focus. You're going to have more creativity. You're going to have more mind-body integration. You're going to be able to dissolve phobias, limiting beliefs, reorganize your thought processes, have less clutter. Is that enough to start? Because that's what's coming. Right? You'll also learn things faster if you play the frame game a lot. Right? So Azoth is saying, how could my game development company create an NLP game with you, and what would that look like? Well, you'd probably have to get into some private conversations with me and go over what your plan is and what you want to do with that. So you might want to reach out to Stephanie and see if there's a fit there. Avant-Garde says, so you've seen it all. Well, I don't know that I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot. Brick T, if partners do develop energy cord, why don't people feel bad on cheating? Can you enhance the energy cord and send messages? Yes. Once you understand how cords work, you can use them for just about anything, which is, again, a dangerous thing, right? Justin, do you have a process of self-hypnosis and transformational change work that you teach or recommend? Start with identity by design. If you're not ready for identity by design, use the transformational triad, right? The color breathing, magic frame, and energy spinning. I do a lot of stuff, guys, but I'm always doing something. So to ask me what I do would be, I would have to give you a laundry list as long as my arm, right? It really depends on what kind of results and what kind of phenomena you're trying to generate in your life. What are the benefits of owning a dog or cat? And are there any great books you can recommend to become a trainer? A trainer of what specifically? Dogs? D, if we change our old stories, which we tell ourselves, how quickly can we see the new stories manifesting in us? Very quickly. Very quickly. One of the things that, and this has been, a lot of the people in the NLP world played with this probably back in the mid to late 90s. A lot of people were coming out with rewriting the stories of your life. And that seems to have a very significant effect. In our Weapons of Mass Instruction course, our neuroscientific storytelling secrets course, one of the things that we tell people to do is write the narrative of your life as you understand it, then rewrite it as a comedy, then rewrite it as a tragedy, then rewrite it as a love story, and notice how your experience of those same events changes, right? It's kind of like reframing. You know, we're more the slaves of the story we create than the feelings in our body. But the feelings in our body are what are linked to the stories. And so that's where we get an emotion from, is a feeling linked to a story that has a name attached to it, right? What are some ways to strengthen your magical muscle? Well, the things I teach my students starts with identity by design. That whole identity by design curriculum is designed as a hermetic, even though I don't teach it, I don't promote it for this, but this is the truth. The identity by design system combined with killer influence, but 80% identity by design is designed as a hermetic skills and attribute development system. Okay, you're learning these techniques in the context of hypnosis and therapy and self-work, but each and every one of those 7 stages is working on specific magical attributes that you need to develop, or in some cases remove. Okay, so I always and again, if you ever get around a lot of my inner circle, like my mega platinum or my platinum members or my coaching members, you'll hear them every now and then. You'll hear someone say it's all the same, and everybody will burst out laughing because they've been through the different levels of Planet David, and they've seen how what they thought was one thing was actually a whole bunch of things being trained into them at the same time. Right? I'm going to be very transparent about that. You're going to get power from what we do, and you're going to come in with you're going to come into the system at whatever problem level you need to solve, while laying the foundation to solve higher level problems for you as you continue to work with the system. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Beyond that, start with the image cycling, pulling down the heavens, 1 through 10, 3 divine invocations, and you're cooking with gas. Len, since I have gone to your training and experienced the 3X principle, I find that it is so much easier to perform the learned processes after the seminar in the real world. Thank you, Len. Thank you. There's proof in the pudding right there. Here's a guy who came to the training, followed the protocol, and now he can do this stuff. And I'm gonna extrapolate pretty much anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance. That's the whole point. These skills aren't truly yours if you can only do them in the treatment room. They're not truly yours if you can only do them online. They're not truly yours until you can do them in a line at Starbucks or in a car traveling at 70 miles an hour, or in the parking lot of an IHOP where somebody has just gone head first, into the cavement, and they're bleeding from the scalp, till somebody's fallen over in a seminar room and they're in pain and agony and stuff, and they can't get up, and you walk over, put the whammy on them, and they're fine. These are all true things that have happened, by the way. That's what we do, right? If you'd like to have the ability to be able to do full-blown therapy in the lobby of a hotel, undergoing renovations next to an active working jackhammer with 100% success, that's the level of training we do. There are people on this call right now who were in that class, right? So that's kind of what we're about, right? Again, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just telling you the way it is, right? You can believe me or not believe me, but that's how it is. So let me see here. Brick T, can you transfer your state of mind to another person when they're panicking to calm them down quickly, as there's no... Theoretically, yes, but I'm not there yet, and I don't know anybody who can do that. If somebody is panicking, you're probably going to need to physically intervene, or at least verbally intervene, to get them to pay attention to you. Okay, there are a lot, as you get deeper and deeper into the hermetic training, there's lots of what we call consciousness transference drills and exercises. In the advanced mystical trainings, both Taoist, Christian, and Buddhist, there's this thing called overshadowing, where you can just envelop somebody in an energy ball and take over. I have the trainings, but I don't have the skill level yet. But I know those trainings are there, and I know what they are. I know where they are. I even know how they work, actually. But if someone's in full-blown panic mode, I don't know if most people would have enough juice. And when I say juice, I mean the energy quotient and the amplitude to actually overshadow them and get them in a quiescent state. So I'm going to say theoretically yes, functionally no. Brig T says, do you have to meditate to make esoteric principles less cryptic? Like, what approach should one take on reading initiation in hermetics? And here's the secret to unlocking initiation into hermetics. Nobody's going to like it, but this is the way it works. When you get the book, read it at least 3 times, cover to cover, just for fun, just for informational purposes, to just lay the seeds in your unconscious mind. And then what you need to do is you need to start doing the exercises. So there's something about how Barden designed the book, whether it was a spiritual intention, a word that he put on the text itself. But as you start doing the exercises, if you're doing identity by design work, vibrational influence and healing work, they're the same. Those are analogs to exercises in those texts. As you're doing those drills, every now and then go back to initiation, randomly open the book and read what's there. And all of a sudden, something that was completely impenetrable before will open up like a zip file. Read and absorb that information until you don't understand it anymore. Go back and practice and train. That's how all of my inner circle people have discovered how to unlock that book. If you're not actively engaging in the practices, you're never going to get beyond a certain level. But if you're actually taking steps, doing drills, having fun and playing with the skills, then every time you go to that book, you're going to find something that the universe says you're ready for, and it'll be much more accessible to you. Okay. I've never told anybody that. We've only ever talked about that in our inner circle, but that's kind of how it works. Yo, mama, I've heard someone say people that are more susceptible can be more influential because their open-mindedness allows them to be perceptive and less limited in action. Any thoughts? Openness is as a gateway to suggestibility and therefore installations. So any form of openness can allow people to be influenced more readily. Marcus Alexander, the biggest problem with NLP is misunderstanding the word elegant. If you did the history, elegant originally meant maximum effect with minimum effort. People think elegant is fancy. Amen, Marcus. Sounds like something I used to say to people. Yeah, somewhere along the lines, the NLP community started trading eloquence for elegance, which is translated as efficiency. Right. So I'm in 100% agreement, Marcus. Avant-garde is waving their hands at me. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We jumped a few levels here. Hold on. Yo Mama says, interesting. Heather says, I love the 3x3 protocol because it mirrors how I learned clinical skills in nursing. I've been able to hypnotize people in the most random places for the most random things. Amen, Heather. Frank Richards says, hi, Dr. David. Hi, Frank. Sonic Pranic Healing Meditation says, howdy, David. Thanks for your time today. Can you explain why Mantak Chia's 6 healing sounds are quiet versus the ones you've shared with pulling down the heavens and 1 through 10? Does the quiet version just take longer for SH? I don't know what SH2 is. Oh, 6 healing sounds. All right. So this is a really, I'm gonna tell you right up front that I do not know what Mantak Chia knows about the 6 healing sounds. But I will tell you what I know about 6 healing sounds. There are 3 levels to sound training. Okay. The first level is auditory or audible sound. The second level is subaudible. So if you've ever like sung under your breath, like your favorite song, you're just kind of sub-vocalizing it to yourself. That's the second level. The third level is generating the spiritual vibration mentally and spiritually. The problem is that in order to get to that spiritual Shen level where you can vibrate your organs and send vibrations out, you need to start with physical vibrate or the spoken. So there's a training process that you go through. So with my inner circle, my megas, we actually come to the NLP Powerhouse 4 times a year, and we actually do sound training where we start with the verbal, the physical sound, the audible sound, the subaudible sound, and then the spiritual sounds. Because the idea behind 6 healing sounds is it's not just about making the sound with your throat. It's making the sound with your entire body and playing with the frequency of the syllable that you're working with until the specific organ system connected to that sound starts to vibrate internally. Okay. If you're not getting those internal organ vibrations, and I'm not just talking about your rib cage vibrating, I'm talking about if you're going to do like the liver sound, your liver starts to actually physically vibrate. When you're doing the spleen sound, you can feel your spleen and your pancreas start to vibrate and get hot, right? That's the level you should be working towards before you start working with subaudible or inaudible sounds, right? Again, if you want to learn more about that, join our mega program, or every now and then I'll put out some sound training in the mastermind groups. But sound work is very powerful. It's very serious work, even though we do it in a fun, playful way. And you need somebody to guide you through that training if you want to be able to unpack what's really powerful. Now, I know Heather's done this. I don't know if anybody else has done this, but one of the things that we actually do is we'll take a bottle of whiskey, for example. We'll pour some whiskey in one bottle and pour whiskey in another bottle. And then what we'll do is we'll take one of those cups of whiskey and we'll project sound through it and dissolve all the alcohol out of the fluid. And then you taste test them so you can tell how powerful your purgation skills are. That's actually an actual test that a bunch of us, that's part of the training. That's one small piece after you learn to vibrate things, right? So there's a lot going on. So when you ask me about what Mantak Chia is teaching versus what he knows, he's teaching you something that's probably safe. But I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't. So I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, right? I have a tremendous respect for the work he's put out. because he was putting stuff out 20, 30 years ago when none of this Taoist and esoteric stuff was available. So his stuff was some of the very first stuff I ever studied. So let's see here. Marcus Alexander at Heather Enders, 3x3 as in 3, 2, 1. No, that's different. Yeah. Len says, so glad you're not done. Frank Richards says, I have not had luck with manifestation. Any tips trying to do it while moving and positive minded? I would start doing gray room, Frank. Gray room, magic frame, spinning, and color breathing, and see what that gets you. What's the frame game again? Frame game is where you point to where you feel it, reach out, touch it, make the picture bigger, smaller, move it over your head, wrap it around you, take it out, throw it behind you, bring it back, and put it where you want it. We've done this lots of times in the mastermind, which I highly recommend if you guys want to do mastermind training, or you guys want more guided training from me. Probably the fastest way to do that is going to be our mastermind program, which you can join through this channel, which I got to warn you, for those of you who are in the Southern California area or LA area, Orange County, I've made a command decision that I am going to start reactivating a lot of my get-togethers down here. So one of the very first things we're going to be doing is we're going to be reactivating the live mastermind mentoring program. And because of that, I'm actually going to be raising the price of the mastermind program, right? So if you're in the San Diego area, the Los Angeles area, or even the Northern California area, and you want to come down, you can actually now on the third Saturday of every month, unless we change it due to training schedules, come down and actually do the drills in person with me together. You'll still be able to participate virtually, but it's time now, I think, for us to get back into the real world and to make sure that people are getting the kind of relationships and interactions with me that they want. So if you are in the area and you are a current mastermind member, like if you're already in at the $99 level, then you can come to the live event. You can come to the mastermind training here in San Diego when we do it. So just letting you know, but for new people coming in, the prices are going up. So if you want to be part of Planet David, even a little bit, when would now be a good time to kind of do that? Let's see here. NA, I watched your lecture about manifestation. I am stuck at fear from pursuing bachelor's degree. What is your recommendation to find my passion major, please? So are you trying to say that you want to go back to school, but you don't know what to go back for? That's what I'm kind of interpreting from that question, NA. Heather Endress, add Marcus Alexander. I am referring to the way David teaches, where you learn a process, then do it on 3 people and have it done to you at least that many times so you can actually use them. Okay. All right. We're getting some Yoda quotes in here. Yeah. Okay. That's actually SOP in the community, except it's often called ABC. I'm not sure you guys are still talking about the same thing, Marcus, but okay. Yo, Mama, can you talk about the metaphysical power of belief and conviction? I can, but if you can give me a better question, I can give you a better answer. Spin Tech. Is the frame game holding your state through state control? Not exactly. The frame game is about learning to modulate your state and enter and exit a state through your state control. It's a very important piece to the state control game, but it's not really about holding it. Brick T, why do so many people go through cheating breakups if they're connected energetically? Because the energetic connection has nothing to do with their intentions or their desires. Okay. Marcus Alexander, speaking of manifesting, I read an interesting book which suggests manifesting is actually not changing anything external, but shifting you in the multiverse to where your desire to. 100%. I've said that in not those words many times. 100%. Bob Sakay says, what is the frame game? I'm new here. I just answered that question. Frame game is where we point to where we feel it, reach out and touch it, make the picture bigger, make it smaller, bring it closer, move it out, lift it up over your head, wrap it around you, take it out, lift it up, throw it behind you, bring it back, put it in the place that gives you the greatest feeling that you want to have. That's basically how it works. You can use it for anything. We use it to gauge how well people can control and modulate their nervous system. Thomas says, incredible to hear. And it says, how do you overcome fears in pursuing a higher college degree if you're ready but scared to fail or take too long? First of all, understand this, that if you've got a voice in your head that's saying it's going to take too long, that's the part of you that doesn't think they deserve it. Okay? You're looking at a guy who didn't go back to, who didn't start college until he was 38 years old. Like, I was a high school graduate until I was 38 years old. I went for my associate's degree at 38 and then decided to go on for my master's in Oriental medicine. That was, I think I was probably 40, 41, 42 when I graduated with my master's degree, right? And then in 2018, I decided to go back to school for my doctorate. Now, in 2018, do the math. I was in my 50s. Early 50s, right? I was just as scared as anybody else. But you know what? You're going to be whatever age you're at, whether you have a degree or not. Is it better to be at the age you're going to be at with a degree or without? Right? Being scared whenever you're trying something new is normal. And a lot of times it's not even being scared. It's just excitement that you've attached the name fear to, or scared, right? If it's worthwhile, it's worth doing. Nothing fulfilling is really ever truly easy, right? So, but I think the question you need to ask yourself isn't about what degree. I think it's, what do you want to do with it? Why are you going back to college, right? Is it so you'll earn more money? Is there a specific career you're trying to train for, right? Is it just personal enrichment? What's the priority? What's the hierarchy of priorities that you have, right? And I'm not going to pass judgment on your priorities. Trust me. Whatever gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you moving towards the things you want, that's all that matters, right? But you're gonna continue to age and get older physiologically or chronologically. The question becomes, when you hit that age, what are you going to have to show for it? And how are you going to feel about you? Right? At the end of the day, it's really about how we feel about ourselves that determines whether we look at our life as being a success or not. Right? Anyway, somebody there needed to hear that. I'm not sure who. Marcus, a brick T. What happens when you put two poles of man? Okay, there's a lot of conversations going on here. Let's see here. NA says, I want to teach. Then teach. Avant says, really, David? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, 38 years old. No, wait. I'm sorry. I got my math wrong. I was 33. I graduated acupuncture school in my 40s or close to 40. Lightworker saying belief systems. Okay, what about belief systems, Lightworker? 37, hell no, 37 is not too late. God, no. Let me tell you something. You know when it's too late? When they put you in the ground. That's how I feel about it. If there's something you want, if there's something that will make your life more fulfilling, fucking do it. Figure out what needs to happen and make those things happen. James Burr says, I am definitely not qualified to be here. Right? KW says, hi, David. On Magic Frame, the knob for brightness got stuck. I couldn't turn it all the way to one side. I was wondering your input on it. Play with the size, shape, and location. Turn it as far to one side as you can, and then practice spray painting over it. Try that. Avant-garde, David, you look young. This is amazing to hear. Thanks for sharing. No, you're very welcome. Marcus Alexander says, at James Byrne, you're human. That's sufficient to qualify you. Yep. Avant-garde says, I get anxious when I look at how long it will take, but when I stay present day to day, I find it flows much more nice than going back to school for all of the above. Bravo, my friend. Heather says, I am in school at 48. Yeah, I'm curious now. Now you got me wanting to do math. Hold on a second. Let me just figure out, how young was I? Hold on a second. That's not helpful. I'll figure this out in a minute. A calculator. Okay, so let's see. It's 2023. I was born in 1966. So I'm 57. So let's do it this way then. So I would probably have been 2019 minus 6. I was 53 when I graduated from my doctorate program. So do the math. For those of you who feel it's too late. I don't know how to apply the CPI to door-to-door sales. Oh, that's easy. First you do is get their attention and then ask them a question, right? And that question is usually going to be, I'm curious why you let me in today, right? And then ask them, curious, what's important to you about XYZ, right? Know what you want, control your state, get rapport with the subject, use your language skills to manage the state of the subject, find out what process they use to make a buying decision, what's emotionally important to them about that, emotionally bond what they want to the exact aspects of your product or service that you offer, and just keep revisiting it and telling stories and painting pictures about how that's going to be great for them until they decide to buy. Right? I had a door-to-door salesman, Joe Momber, I think it was. He upped his closing rate using CPI by 40%. He would literally, or was it Joe? I think Joe does plumbing supplies. Anyway, there's a guy who literally went door to door selling home improvements. He upped his closing rate by 40% from using CPI. Another guy in Australia, he was a children's book salesman, and he would go from elementary school to elementary school to elementary school. He upped his conversion rate by like 30%. Okay. And he says, I feel amazing when I teach at college level, especially when working as a tutor. Okay. Good. And he says, wow, you really gave me hope. Rick T says, what's the trick to do? What's the trick to doing the systema wave apart from being relaxed? It's awkward. You have to be able to have your joints move in sequence with a fascial connection. There's a phenomenon that happens in the body called biotensegrity, which happens when your tailbone is activated and your spine is in alignment, and then all of a sudden the joints will flow. If you want to learn how to do that, Secrets of Internal Power is coming up October 26th to the 29th, 2023, here in San Diego. We're going to devote an entire day to systema, ground flow, internal work, wave mechanics. And it's for people who don't have any martial arts training. So if you want to learn it, if you want, I'll post the link, so you can go to www.nlppower.com/events and sign up for the internal power training. Okay. In fact, you're here. How many people here let me skip down to the bottom really quick. How many of you here, by a show of hands, are actually interested in like self-defense, energy training, stuff like that? If you're interested in it, please type me in the chat, because I got some stuff. I just did this today for the previous attendees. If there's enough people interested, I'll post the information here for you as well. Let's see here. Avant-Garde says, I always feel so much better when I come to these streams. Good. That's my goal. I want you guys to come away from, every time we get together, my heart's desire is for you to come away empowered to understand or to experience what's possible for you. The only way I can do that is to try and make my life as much of an example of what that looks like as possible. Now, none of you are going to go out and buy vests and do what I do. But the idea is I want you to see what's possible for you. If you could see you, it sounds so weird. If you could see yourselves the way I see you, so much power, so much potential, so much magic, but you've been fed so many lines of bullshit and limiting beliefs and stuff, right? There's so much power in you. And I just want you to tap into that, because once you tap into it and you experience it, there'll be no stopping you. Now, some people are quantum leapers, some people are baby steppers, right? You know, in any population, you're going to have the superstars, the people who just take to it like a duck to water. But that's not, I had this conversation with one of my clients the other day, but that's not how I design my programs. I designed my programs so people like Homer Simpson could someday become Jedi, right? And if it can work for the Homer Simpsons of the world, then it can work for everybody else. And that's kind of how I look at it. That being said, the people who gravitate to Planet David are extraordinarily kind, very smart, and very no BS kind of people. So I kind of appreciate that. Anyway, let's see. Rhino God says, I have a question. How can you make it easier to get someone to join your company? Find out what they most emotionally need and want. Link it to the aspects of your company that directly satisfy those emotional needs. Keep them connected to it over and over and over again until they just say, yes, I want that. Okay. How effective are yin formations in modifying one's body, such as height increase? Can it be used to treat ADD? Revelation, I do not know. And the reason I say that is because no one's ever done that. No one's ever reported to me on using informations for that application. Now, here's what I will tell you. There are people in the world who've successfully used hypnosis to modify certain physical attributes, breast size. I have a colleague of mine who lives in San Diego here, and that's actually her superpower is she can hypnotically, and she teaches this, but she can hypnotically modify her bust size. She can have it expand, she can grow it, and she can shrink it, right? Using hypnosis. Now, if that's possible through classical hypnosis, which is what she's doing most of the time, if you replace classical hypnotic suggestion with suggestions in the structure of yin formations, you're going to start to marshal more of the body's resources to create those changes. So while I have not had direct experience modifying using yin formations for like height increase and stuff like that, I do know that the yin formation structure has a much more powerful effect on a human being's nervous system than classical hypnotic suggestions, the way they're normally taught. So I hope that answers your question. Nikolaki says, I was 42 when I went back to college CSUN for a second BA in religious studies. I went on to receive my master's in religious studies. I was 49 when I graduated from Long Beach State, Phi Kappa Phi. Yeah, baby. Let's see. Nikolaki says, it was all about personal enrichment and driven by overcome my dyslexia. If I can do it, so can you. Of course you can. Right? Personally, even with persuasion superpowers, I'm very glad all of my uni got done before higher education. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. You know, I'm grateful for what I got when I got it. Patty Pacifico says, Homer, so there is hope for me. You gotcha, baby. You gotcha. David, how do you know that the thing in front of you is what you manifested, like especially in relationships where things could turn out different? You evaluate how it makes you feel. You know, based on how you've done your manifestations, how many boxes does it check? Now, remember that no matter how comprehensive our manifestation process might be, there will always be things we didn't count on. There will always be things we left out of the equation. Or, as is often the case, as we pull the person in, that's what we manifested, their mission is to trigger in us all the things that we still need to change to become worthy to have them. Right? So there's lots of different ways or different lessons. So start with what's in front of you. How many boxes does it check? And then always be testing. When you become certain that what you manifested is in front of you, take it off your list so you don't demanifest it. Marcus says, at Patty, never be overly sad about understanding the suchness of any situation. I can't remember for the Japanese. I don't understand that commentary. An emotional need, freedom, safety, security, acceptance. Validation. Again, you would have to do, I haven't done much research on that, Marcus. I'll be upfront. I don't know. I believe it's possible. But I have never done it. I've never had a client that wanted to do it. So again, I tell you what I know and what I don't. Let's see here. Len says, just use resistance removal technique to convince my wife to go to a Def Leppard covered band show tonight. You go, boy. Congratulations. It's powerful, huh? Shouldn't work as easy as it does, but it does. Hi, David. Which of your courses can I recommend a non-practitioner that give the base NLP exercises like you do in training? Start with Identity by Design. Oh, well, actually, wait a minute. Patty, what's their chosen application? Where do they want to use these skills? If you can tell me where they want to use the skills, I can give you better information. You guys having a good time? You learning a lot of stuff? Did we lose people, or because all of a sudden things slowed down a little bit? Oh, we're getting hearts. Yay, hearts. You guys never really answered me about the Systema training. David says, what is your major? Well, my doctorate is in Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine. And the doctorate I'm currently working on, well, I actually got two going right now. I'm working on a doctorate in Chinese energetic medicine, which is basically medical Qigong. And I'm also working on getting certified as a Buddhism teacher. So I'm going to be a Buddhist Lama in about 2 years, give or take, teaching the esoteric stuff as well. So Antron says, I'm still here, have you in my ear while I'm cooking. Marcus says, always enjoy you, mate. Enjoy you back. Liam says, yes, learned a lot. Patty, that would be for people who need to rewire their brains from childhood to overcome. Okay. So you're looking at the therapy track or coaching track. So Identity by Design. Or Secrets of Personal Transformation. This is the Russian system that's best. Yes. Now, remember that the Systema that the Spetsnaz learned was actually a modern version of something that was that actually comes from some classical Cossack and Siberian martial arts as well. So there is a little bit more history to it than just the Cold War era. That says there are about a dozen knees for the Systema. I didn't see any of them. Right. Okay, so guys, here's the deal. For those of you who answered yes for Systema, here's what I'm going to do. I've only got about maybe 10 slots that I can open up for you guys. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to post two things for you. First is, hold on a second. David Snyder, that's not what I want. I'm going to post the sign up page for you. But I'm also going to do something for you guys only, those of you on the live tonight. So the training, the systemic training, and the rest of this. So the first day is going to be devoted completely to systemic and energetic internal work. Day 2, 3, and 4 is going to be pressure point applications, structural attacking the structure, and small joint manipulation techniques. So that's what's going to be happening. This is the link to sign up for that training here in San Diego. Now, here's the deal. This training is going to fill up fast. I'm just starting to promote it now. We've already got like 10 people. We usually max it out at 30. So here's what's going to happen. Because I love you, because you're hanging out with me on a Saturday. If you click that link right now and you type in secrets 004, that's the coupon code. That's a secret code that we're giving to people. It will give you a $300 discount on the entire 4-day seminar. Okay. So if you click the link, go to secrets 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back and answer questions, but just so people know what I'm talking about, I'm going to actually share my screen. And we're going to walk through this process so you know how it works. Okay, so I'm going to go here to David Snyder events. I'm going to click on the sign up now link. So you'll see this. Click add to cart. And you'll see here it says Secrets of Internal Power, $9.97. If you type in secrets 004, apply the coupon, it's going to give you a $300 discount. So you can get the entire 4-day training for $697. This is the lowest training. This is the least expensive I ever do trainings. So if you're interested, like I know David was asking about some of the different systemic work. David is a hardcore systemic guy. Avant-Garde was asking about systemic work and body structures and things like that. This is going to be the fastest way for you to get a deep dive into. You don't need to be a martial artist to do this. All you've got to do is click the link and we will teach you what you need to know from soup to nuts. Okay, so once again, the coupon code is secrets 004. All right, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. So let's see. Do you know of any practitioners or sources who use hypnosis to increase height? I do not. Marcus Alexander, speaking of pressure points and related matters, is Dr. LaTourette still with us? No, unfortunately, Dr. LaTourette passed away maybe 4 or 5 months ago. In May, I believe, is when he passed. He's not with us anymore, but he was brilliant too. I still teach his speed hitting stuff. In fact, back when I first started I learned his speed hitting training back in the early 90s. And when I had my martial arts school, I actually made the speed hitting part of the green belt curriculum. So my green belts were actually able to hit people like 9, 10, 11, 12 times in less than a second on pressure points. My guys were really dangerous. But that's a long time, but true story, but yeah. John Thomas. Okay, anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Ground 77. David, I think you can earn much more with tickets costing less. You should do it as a monthly subscription. Not sure what we're actually talking about, Ground, but okay. Marcus says, thanks to, yeah, it was a big loss. I'll be honest with you. Of all the mentors I've had, there's only one person that I've ever trained with in person less than Dr. LaTourette, and that was Kenrick Cleveland. I managed to train with Dr. LaTourette a couple of times in person at some of the HUNA conventions, but in terms of his effect and his impact on my life and my attitude, completely changed everything. If it wasn't for Doc's trainings, I wouldn't know half as much about NLP that I knew then. I wouldn't know how to understand marketing and copywriting and all these things to the same degree that I would. And it was directly because of Dr. LaTourette's work that I discovered things like speed seduction and Mark Cunningham and real renegade hypnosis and all these other things, because so many of those people, believe it or not, actually traced what they did through him. How I discovered from the speed hitting to the speed seduction. It was a very funny story, because I actually came across speed seduction. This was in the early 90s. I was living in Florida at the time, and I had discovered Dr. LaTourette's Secrets of Speed Hitting course in Black Belt magazine. And it was basically secrets of speed hitting, how to hit a man 11 or more times in 1 second or less. And like, I fell in love with that ad, and I was like, I want to do that. And so I whipped out my credit card. I whipped out the $67. I bought the course, and the first 20 minutes, all he did was talk about pressure points from George Dillman and how neurolinguistic programming was used to make speed hitting work. Two things I was in the deep level into. Boom, same guy, and how he used it all for speed hitting. And I was like, I just dove in, right? And so after getting that course and diving into the videos, I wanted to see if I could find him online. This is back in the early days of the internet. And I typed in secrets of speed hitting, right? And all of a sudden this website pops up, says secrets of speed seduction, how to get a woman to sleep with you in like 20 minutes or less. And I was like, what the F is this? And so I started reading the sales letter. And as I read the sales letter, it was the speed hitting sales letter aimed at seduction. I was like, what's going on here? And so I called, I think it was Straightforward. There was a company putting it out. And I said, hey, do you guys ever hear of a guy named John LaTourette? Because your stuff reads an awful lot like Dr. LaTourette. Goes, yeah, we love his stuff, right? And turns out that that the original speed seduction sales letter was modeled off the speed hitting sales letter. And when I typed in secrets of speed X, Google did its magic, and poof, the rest is history, right? He copied the marketing. Oh yeah. That's a true story. I was a lurker in both of those communities for decades. I never got actively involved in a lot of it, but I know where all the skeletons were buried. I knew who slept with who fucked over who, it was an interesting time. I call that my Darth Snyder days. Is there a way to heal tinnitus? Yes, there's several ways to heal it, but it really depends on what kind of tinnitus you have. That Pizza Lesbian 69 says, I noticed there's more than one version of vibrational influencer website. Which is the newest? For your applications, I would recommend the Vibrational Influence United Kingdom series. I think it was done in 2019. That's got 2 full bonus days of material. Vibrational Influence is usually a 3-day class. When I went to the UK, I taught a 5-day version. So there's stuff in there that I haven't taught anywhere else. There will be one coming out. There will be one coming out that is a 7-day. We did it last year in Costa Rica. And it's basically a vibrational influence masterclass. It's just has full Reiki in treatments, how to use the mental body to make your fingers unable to create, to like you do this little technique, and now no matter how hard people try, they can't pull your fingers apart. How to make people heavier, lighter, tap into the elements, Kabbalistic meditations. That's all coming out in Vibrational Influence Costa Rica. It's a 7-day training. I'm not sure exactly when that will be out. So in the interim, get the Vibrational Influence UK. It's probably one of the best versions of the course we've done to date and released. So that's what I would get. X-Fat Batman X says, I'll ask again, is there a fast way to overcome a breakup? It's really hard for me to always think about her, and I don't want to feel this miserable. So the first thing you want to do, Fat, is you want to actually regress the cause. Even though the breakup happened now, it's connected to things in your past. As you dissolve those things in the past, the energy connected to the present breakup is going to dissolve and dissipate. The next thing you want to do is magic frame the breakup, right? So you preserve any safety lessons that you might have for wanting to feel bad or guilty or go back into that relationship. Then you want to use the resistance removal formula on yourself. Say, if you were to want to get over this and put it behind you, why might you want to do that? Follow the resistance removal protocol, and then scan your body, point to where you feel it, take it out, spin it in the opposite direction or in the direction that gives you the feeling you want to have instead, put it back in. Okay, that's a bunch of processes that you can use, and some of them you can actually see that application on YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel and you type in how to cure or how to heal a broken heart, you'll actually see me doing a spinning technique on somebody who just got broken up with. But I would do the entire sequence of techniques I just rattled off and end with the spinning technique. Okay. David likes to do cool things with cool people, according to David. That's true. Mr. Nye says, hi, David. Thank you so much. I've been watching these, and raising of the hands for a few minutes has been helping. Good, 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 good. Great name. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Marcus says, I'm glad I asked. That's a fascinating bit of history. Yeah. Please tell us some ways to heal tinnitus. Color breathing, magic frame, energy spinning, regression to cause. Relaxing more, tonifying your liver, tonifying your kidneys. What is the best Kabbalistic book you recommend? It really depends on what you want to do, NA. Okay, if you tell me more about what you want to be able to do, I can give you more about which book to pick up, because I have a couple. Aldo Zamudio, entrainment, hold on a second. Entrainment experience was listening to podcasts, wanted a guy to finish it, felt this tingling in his chakra under the belly button and crown chakra. Imagine myself, okay, there's no question there. What's the way to change your state immediately after getting riled up? Change your posture, change your breathing, step back. In that order. Aldo says, imagine him saying goodbye. I swear he said goodbye. Okay. Pizza Lesbian 69 says, I use spinning to get rid of my caffeine addiction. Worked super well. Boom, there it is. Right? It's crazy, huh? Batman says, thanks very much. I'll look it up. I'm going to bed now. It's almost 3 a.m. here in Germany. Wow. Everybody give him a thumbs up. Germany's in the house. You sleep good, my friend. Have you heard, Justin's asking, have you heard of Kundalini syndrome? Yes, I have. All right. You guys have any questions about, how many of you guys are into the law of attraction or manifestation? Anybody? Netherlands in the house. Netherlands, yes. Patty says, I may not know or understand 90% of what you say, Dr. David, but every time I'm here, I learn at least 3 amazing bits of knowledge and become better. Thank you. You're very welcome, Patty. What if the feeling is outside of your body? Doesn't matter. What will happen is when you start taking that feeling and processing it, the feeling will start to migrate back into your body, and that's when you know you're getting closer to resolution. Okay, so here's the deal. August 20. Hold on a second. Seth, what are the dates on Hidden Laws of Attraction? Oh, 22nd to the 24th. Hold on a second. So August 22nd to 24th here in San Diego. We'll be hosting our next Hidden Laws of Attraction video course. This is live. How many people here like the video on the manifestation master or crash course I posted? You guys like that? Yeah. Does image cycling? I am an off spin of spinning the color with my hands. Not sure what that means. No, Justin, image cycling does not require strong visual submodality. It just requires you to know what you're imagining. Okay, so we've got a 3-day live, Hidden Laws of Attraction. And here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I want to fill this training. I've got a few seats left. So here's what I'm going to do. For those of you who want to join me in San Diego, boy, my website's slow. We'll get there eventually. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to post this link. I'm going to post the links for the Systema class as well as Hidden Laws of Attraction. And what I'm going to do for you guys for Hidden Laws, I'm going to put another coupon code for Hidden Laws. So for those of you who want to come to Hidden Laws Live, August 22nd to the 24th, I'm going to put a coupon code in there for, well, we'll do another $300. So we'll take $300 off. And you can join us live and get the full manifestation mastery training, how to clear your shit, how to program your subconscious mind, how to install the 5 characteristics all lucky people have, how to turn water into wine. I'm sorry, that's the advanced class. We'll teach you how to magically or energetically charge water for healing and remote influence applications. We'll teach you how to do all 3 levels of the information process and so much more. Okay. So if that's something you guys want to do, I haven't made the coupon code up for Hidden Laws yet, but I did do the Hidden Laws book code. So I will post both the links for the trainings and the coupon codes in the description section of the AMA. And so you guys, and it'll be available for like till Monday or Tuesday, and then I'm going to take it down. Because I want you guys, I want to just say thank you guys for being supportive and for liking what we do, and to give you guys a chance to really come out and take your skills to the next level, one-on-one with me, the way we do it. Rhino God 32 says, how can you last longer in bed? 2 things. A, get my Forever Man course. B, get Mantak Chia's book, Secrets to Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. And you'll have all the skills and drills that you need to train yourself to last longer and longer and longer in bed. Let's see here. Suggestions on releasing extra weight. Vanessa, first thing I would do is magic frame, color breathe, spin, and then regress to cause. So for weight loss, Magic frame. Color breathe. And then spin. And when the opportunity presents itself, get someone to do regression with you. Also, yin formations will work really well to help amplify the trainings. Those things will help you lose weight. NA, David, any Kabbalistic books on law of attraction, manifestation? Okay, so for NA, you're going to want to first read Franz Barden, Initiation into Hermetics, and do those drills. Then you want to get the 72 names. Or AKA the 72 names of God. Right? Those will be the two books you're going to need. If you're really serious about using Kabbalah for manifestation, those are the two books. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, like I said, if you're interested in hidden laws, if you're interested in, again, this is just for you guys who are on the AMA today. So once again, if you haven't clicked the links, do it now, right? Once again, let me see if I can just scroll up really quick and just cut and paste these without too much of a hassle. Let's see here. So for those of you coming for Secrets of Internal Power, so if those of you the martial arts or a magical training manifestation bent, here's what you need. Click this link right now. And then the coupon code is secrets for. All right. And then HLOA is here. All right. Well, in the words of the immortal Cal Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night, my friends. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week for whenever I show up. You never know when I'm going to show up, but I'll start trying to post some little email blasts and stuff. If you enjoyed today's AMA, please like and share, pass it to all your friends, click those links, click the coupon code, save $300, come and train with me in person so I can get these skills into you where they truly belong. Good night.